This is the Entrepreneur Unleashed Show, episode 76, with Nathalie Doremieux. Hi, I'm Patty Keating, and I believe entrepreneurs are the future of the world. Over the past 2 decades, I've built 4 businesses in alignment with my values, giving me the freedom to live where I want and do what I love. I'm here to tell you that creating your successful business does not require struggle or sacrifice. So, how do you create the lifestyle business you love doing only what you love? Welcome to the Entrepreneur Unleashed podcast. I am really excited to bring you Nathalie Doremieux. Nathalie helps heart-centered entrepreneurs turn their expertise and influence into recurring revenue by helping them create and grow online programs. She was born in France and has lived the true American dream. After finishing school with her boyfriend, who's now her husband, they decided to pack their bags and get on a summer trip to the USA and try to find a job. They landed in San Francisco in Silicon Valley, and they both found their jobs and they decided to stay. And then after 10 years of living a fun but a little too crazy life, they decided to sell everything, pack their bags, and move back to the south of France with their 3 kids, 2 dogs, and cat to build a new life on their terms. That's when they started their family business and grew it into a thriving multi-6-figure business. Hello.
Hi, Patty. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm excited to hear your story, and I'm excited to share your story. So let's dive in. Tell me and the listeners what inspired you to start your business?
So I was actually not born an entrepreneur. My husband is. So I really like to say that I really became an entrepreneur for love. So I've always known, so you know from my bio, right, that I met my husband at school in college, right? And he's always wanted to be his own boss. And that was not me. Like, I was very happy to be told what to do. And I would I'm not the creative type. Now, this is not how I'm wired. So when we had this opportunity, when we were in the US and we had this opportunity to leave our job, sell everything and come back, quickly we realized that there was an opportunity for him to finally start a business because we had sold everything. So we had money that we could invest. So I was like, yeah, sure, he wants to do it. And in my mind, I was just going to be the little employee, that does the things. And that didn't exactly go as planned because he actually fired me not once, but twice for really acting like an employee and not a business owner. So it took a lot of work on myself, self-esteem and just, work a lot of mindset work to really figure out what it is that we want to do. Why are we doing this in the first place? To really get to where we are right now.
Yeah, I totally get that. So that sounds like one of the obstacles. Were there other obstacles that showed up as you guys were growing this business?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest one is not knowing what you don't know. Because you have some money on the side, you think you have time. You come out of the corporate world with an expertise and you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing. And you stay in your comfort zone of doing your thing. So we were software engineers in the Silicon Valley. So for several years, we built software that we were absolutely sure were amazing and people would buy.
Yeah.
And we were avoiding marketing and sales because we hated it. And we're like, oh, it's so good. People will buy. When we show them, they're going to say, of course. And well, you know what happens next, right? So it's really the biggest mistake is thinking that we had time. And the minute we started to realize where our weaknesses were and where we needed to get help, things really started to shift quite quickly.
So how did you move through that?
Well, I guess it was kind of like we had kind of our back against the wall. Like, are we going back to get a job? Actually, I interviewed. I went to interview. I did 3 interviews. I got 2 job offers. They were giving me the money that I wanted. And that really gave me the confidence that I was at a different level that I saw. I needed that for my own self-worth.
Yes.
And once that happened, we're like, okay, we have to invest in what we don't know. If otherwise we go back and we look for a job. So It's kind of like you have no other option. And honestly, when you start to surround yourself with other people that are like you, it kind of becomes like an evidence, like there is no other way.
Yeah.
You cannot do this alone. It's only going to get you so far. And for some people, it's pretty far, but for some people, it's not far at all.
So what would you say the lessons are you learned from all of that?
Probably the biggest lesson is that you don't have to have it all figured out. And really trusting that, well, first being clear on what you want to do, and then finding the resources to make it happen. Too often we try to do both at the same time. We are trying to figure out what we want to do. We are not super clear. We want to cast a wide net because we want to see what sticks to the wall, right? And at the same time, we are kind of like doing a little bit of too many things and not being focused enough. So it's really been that realization that it's okay to be, I want to say weak. Weak is not even the right word, but like to not be good at certain things, right? And you know, when you start to look at, actually one thing that really, really helped me about everything, and that's something I discovered last year, was when my new coach, the new coaching program that I joined, made me take a personality test. And I've taken tests before. But the way she explained it, and when I talk to her, she has my file and she knows how I am wired. And I love how she's going to speak to me differently than she speaks to somebody else.
Yes.
Because she knows I am analytical. She knows I'm not a visionary. And so that's why I need her to get that out of me, because I'm not wired this way. So she understands she's not going to give the same answer to 2 people that are wired differently. Because the minute you understand that, then you understand why it is that some people are doing things and for you, you're not doing it. And then you feel less than because you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. You know, it's self-worth. And I know we are wired differently. Yeah. And most of all, because we have a family business and my husband is my business partner, realizing that we are wired very differently. Yeah. So quick example, when we would do a meeting, we would say, okay, let's do a meeting. I'm like, oh my gosh, another 2 hours where we are going to reinvent the world and he's going to have all these ideas. And I'm going to be like, okay, but at the end of a meeting, we have to have the things that we have to do. Otherwise, we're just talking for the sake of talking. Yeah. But now that I understand how he's wired and how I am wired, now I get it. We are just very different. But knowing that awareness is huge. Yeah, because we are all wired different.
Yeah. So cool. So tell us what you're passionate about now.
So right now, and it's evolved. Until recently, if you could have asked me, what are you passionate about and what do you want to do? I would say that I don't know what I want to do. I'm just going with the flow. I'm just being reactive. And right now, and I guess it's since I've done a lot of work on myself, personal work on myself. And what I'm really passionate right now is supporting women and showing them that they can achieve financial stability. They don't have to stay with a job. we are all moms, partners, wives, sisters, grandmas. We have all stories, we've all experience that we can share, that can help others. So if you really, really want, for people that really want to have that financial stability, which is something I didn't have as a child, it's like, I've done a lot of work, so I know where this comes from, right? It's really what I'm passionate about. And I talk to lots of people every week. And I love hearing, what they're trying to do, their vision, and just helping them, make it happen, or at least get to the next step.
Yes. So nice. So what's your vision for the next 5 years?
So for the next 5 years, we want to get to 7-figure. Like that's a goal. For a long time, I didn't really want to talk about money because, especially women, I think many women have a hard time to talk about money. And my relationship with money has really changed when the business starting to work better and better, because now I really see money as a result that allows me to invest in other things. So in the next 5 years, we're actually about to launch our first product. So it's a SaaS, so it's a WordPress plugin for podcasts, for podcasters. And it's very new, it's brand new, but it's the business that we've built that is allowing us for Olivier, my husband and business partner, to spend time on the development with the team, and then for me to spend time then marketing it. So that's really where, that's really where we see ourselves, in the next 5 years, is having, this 2,000, 3,000 people using our tool. And of course, continue to support women, but maybe in a different capacity, maybe not as many, doing as many as I do right now.
So tell us a little bit about some of your growth. So for instance, what's the best advice you ever received?
The best advice, and that's something that was repeated to me a lot of times, is that my past doesn't have to define my present and my future, and that I should stop using that as an excuse. And I know it's harsh, but if it triggers anyone, well, ask yourself, why is it triggering you? So advice. And it's really from working with people who've helped me with that. Even my husband was saying, like, we've been together longer than you've been a child, right? So it's like, this should be gone right now from your memory, right? It doesn't work that way. But really I had to go back to really understand and just take it as a story that happens and that made me who I am. That's why I'm so resilient. That's why, I am wired the way I am right now. That's why there are things that really trigger me. I am, hypersensitive, and, I could, easily cry on a call and things like that. And I used to take that as weakness. And now I just take it as who I am.
Yes.
That's who I am.
I'm so sensitive too.
I
just feel everything. But it's also my genius, because I can feel things about other people and mirror it back to them, right?
Exactly.
It depends on the meaning you give it. As a kid, I was super sensitive, and why are you so upset about that? And it's like, can't you feel it? I didn't realize that other people weren't as sensitive. So we have a big role here.
Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned some of this, but I want to ask and see if there's anything else you'd like to share. What personal growth have you experienced as a result of this journey?
Well, it's been on different level. One is realizing that, I mean, we've had this business for 14 years. Mm-hmm. And it's really in the last year that I really feel like a business owner, a true business owner. And I was telling before, people before, it's like, yeah, it's working, but is it by accident? Like, you know how like you feel like you don't really have it all together, that it could go all away. And it's really like in this last year that this happened. But that's also because of my awareness of where I come from, and giving myself permission to also, make mistakes and not know everything and react to certain things. Yeah. So I am taking care of myself a lot more, like, in terms of like time for myself, being alone, reading and things like that, which were things that I would never do before, because we used to work a lot. And then when you don't work, well, you cook or you spend time with the family. And then if you would take time for yourself, that would feel like very selfish. So really now I'm like, in this office, like you were mentioning the color, it's my brand color. I used to have my office next door, which was shared, room, and people would just walk away. And then I said, well, I would like to have my own office now, closed, and it's working so much better for me. Yeah. Right. So I've also learned to ask for the things that I want.
Nice. Yes. That's what I was thinking. And really value yourself.
My husband it's always been, if you don't ask, I don't know. You have to ask. He's always saying. And I was always telling him, I shouldn't have to ask. You guys should know. You have to empty the dishwasher. It doesn't empty itself. All these things. You say, you have to ask. Keep asking. Yeah. Right? And so I'm giving myself permission now.
Good. You're sharing it here. Somebody else will start giving themselves permission today when they hear you.
Yeah.
What about tools and resources? What kind of gadgets or tools do you use to make life easier?
Oh, well, I'm a techie person, right? So we use a lot of tools, and actually we love automation. We love to automate as much as we can, just because it saves us time, and also because it allows us to not forget certain things that need to happen. Right? And especially when you grow a team, we're growing our team right now. You have to have processes and tools in place. Otherwise, so I would say right now, the tool that's really the most important for me is probably Asana, because this is where I track what is going on. And I really we use it only as an internal tool. But I would say Asana is the thing. Slack is what I communicate with my team. Some of the team is in there. So those are like the main tool that we use several times a day on a daily basis, all the time.
What about resources like books, podcasts, blogs, audiobooks? What are you reading? What are you listening to?
So right now I'm reading Fix This Next by Michael Michalowicz. I think that's the name. I mean, maybe I butchered it, but okay. That's the guy from Profit First.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So that's his new book, Fix This Next.
Oh, yes. One of my team members is reading that. I'm going to have to get that as well.
And it's really good. It's really good because that's exactly what we need right now. It's like, how do you determine what to work on instead of doing a bit of this, a bit of this, a bit of that? What is the thing that has the biggest lever?
Yes.
Right? And it's hard to figure it out when you have your nose in it. Yeah. You have so many things that are 80% down. What is one thing that I can fix that will make a lot of things a lot easier? So it's a great book.
I have to get that one. I'm going to get that one today.
Yeah.
And we'll put it in the show notes, you guys. So everything she recommends and
So another book that I loved, and I loved it because of the way it's written, It's called The Go-Giver. I don't know if you've read that book.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I've read it 4 times. So good.
Good.
That shift, that going into gratitude and going deeper than, it's the giving to get. But the way, the way it's written, I just love it. I just like, it's a whole story. Mm-hmm. Another one is the membership experiment.
Oh, I don't know that one.
You don't know that one? It's such a good one too. It's a story. It's kind of like, it's similar in the way it's written. It's the story of a guy. Amazing. It's like fascinating. Great book.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to do all of this over again, looking back, what would you tell your younger self?
I will tell my younger self to try things and fail fast. Expect that you're going to fail, because we failed a lot of time. And I guess I think the main thing would be to just not do it alone. Just really surround yourself with people. Join a network, even if it's a free group.
Yeah.
You have to start to surround yourself with people that get you. For years, the only people that we had was our family. And to this day, you can ask them what we do. They probably can't tell you. But we've stopped trying. It's okay. But trying to get the right support, because sometimes if you have one person that's not supporting you in your network, it's like, you really have to get, my coach was saying, like, I think you need like 10 people to support you for every person in your family or surrounding that doesn't support you, to, counteract.
Yeah.
Because you have to have that support system. You have to be surrounded by people that get what you're going through. They've been, because it's always up and downs. And when you're alone and you are in the bottom, you're like, oh, I'm not motivated. I'm not going to make it. I'm not good enough. See, I'm failing. I don't know what to do. And then you realize when you talk to the people, the 7-figure and the multi-7-figure, they have their ups and downs too.
Yes.
They do. And it's not less often. It's just that they are aware and they bounce back. So it's knowing how fast you can bounce back when this happens. And when you have the people around you, we have these things where we say staying in the vortex.
Yeah.
Like if somebody is not in the vortex, we all have things we can do to get back into the vortex, remembering why we do what we do. Right?
Yeah.
So that would be my advice, is just not to think that we can do this alone, and really to surround ourselves with people that are in the same journey.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your story and everything that you've accomplished and gone through with us. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Patty.
Hello and welcome. I'm recording this episode from my home office during self-quarantine, as we were all asked to stay home due to the coronavirus. If you like what you hear and you'd like to hear more, please join me in my Facebook group. It's called the Unleashed Entrepreneurs. You can search that on Facebook. Come on over. It's a community of thriving entrepreneurs making a difference in the world, doing what they love, and changing lives. Hope to see you there. Enjoy the show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have you ever wondered what you could do to make your own business and grow it online? Head on over to pattykeating.com and take the entrepreneur code. You'll discover your unique value, your personality style, and how you can combine those two into a thriving business that helps people and lets you make money doing what you love. I'll see you there. Bye for now.